Okay, so here are the rails, and here is our show.
Completely off. Completely gone today. What in the world? Derailed.
Yay, you're here. Welcome to the CK and GK podcast. Let's get going.
Ra ra Roma ra ga ga ooh la la. It's Tuesday.
Oh dear. Wasn't again. I love the surprise. And y'all, you should know it's early Saturday morning
It
and
is early.
neither one of us are awake and this
Everyone in my house is sleeping.
yeah, that was a great way to start my Saturday morning. Oh man. Oh, y'all, we're so glad you're here. Today we're talking about sunscreen, and I have to say, did you know, Jenny, that most people don't use enough sunscreen to protect their skin?
I am most people.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm wearing a very large sun hat today for our recording. Its brim is about, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches wide, but that's about as much sunscreen as I'm putting on. So I'm in big trouble. I need to learn from you.
Today we're going to talk about all the things you need to know about proper sunscreen usage to make sure that you're protecting your skin, and hats are good. Sunscreen and a hat is even better. First, we have to introduce each other. Yeah.
I've been working on these pickup lines for you.
Yes.
And so since the theme of today was all about sunscreen, I looked at sun-themed pickup lines.
Oh, okay.
And something came across on the search that was not a pickup line, but it might be a new direction.
Oh, all right.
She acts like summer and walks like rain.
Oh.
So it was all, brought up song lyrics. So that might be where we're going.
You know what's really funny is that there was a while where I really liked Train, and then they felt super obnoxious to me, and now it's one of the running jokes in my household that whenever Train songs come on, I immediately turn I will turn a station. Bryce thinks it's hilarious that I can't stand most of their songs anymore. It's really funny. Well,
that is how I feel about the Chili Peppers. I've never been their fan, but I feel like all their songs sound the same. And John's like, they're not the same. They're not the same. They're so different. I'm like, no, it's all the same. It's fine.
It's
so Chili Peppers come on, and I'm like, skip.
Yeah, they have phases. It's kind of like U2, where a lot of songs will sound the same for a little while, and then a lot of that's sort of how the Chili Peppers are too. They go in a direction. I know what you're talking about, but it depends on the album.
Thank you. Thanks for making me feel valid.
Yeah, I feel like I can see both of your points in this situation. Anyway, I have to introduce you.
Maybe early
and
Saturday
again, we're
morning
talking
isn't
about
best
sun,
for us.
So maybe not. But also, it could be. It's funnier this way. All right, so you are my beautiful, glowing, luminescent bird today, and I just
thanks, Leslie.
I felt like with sun. Yeah. Oh, you're so welcome. You noble land mermaid. Anyway, all right. Now we.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, right now, what I'm obsessed with is not so great.
Uh-oh.
Or at least the thing I'm obsessed with is great, but the reason I'm obsessed with it is not so great. My 4-year-old is having some very big feelings these days.
Uh-oh, that's hard.
Yeah, and we're going through more tantrums, and, of course, I escalate it. I don't mean to, but I do, because I get frustrated, and he's frustrated, and now we're both angry. So I have been obsessed with our interviews with Kimball Lewis, who is the CEO of EmpoweringParents.com.
Right.
And I would encourage listeners who are also dealing with, quote unquote, big feelings from small children to go back and visit their website or listen to our interviews. I have to keep telling myself I don't have to attend every argument I'm invited to.
It's so hard. It
is really hard.
And he does acknowledge that it's very hard to
yes,
not just it's really, really, really hard. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm into it. Oh, I'm sorry you're dealing with that though. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's fine. It's
mine
fine.
are.
I keep telling myself, like, hey, he's 4 now. He's not going to be 4 forever. It's going to be fine.
I feel like four was hard. I feel like four was hard. Four was fun because when they're amazing, they're super amazing.
Right.
But when they're not, oh, it's really rough. Okay, mine are boring, but I don't care. And these are products, but they're product. It's not like I just bought them. These are products I've had for a while. So, the first one is Lazy Susans everywhere. If you do not have Lazy Susans in every single cabinet in your fridge, you need to get on this train because
You have them in your fridge.
I don't have one in my fridge at the moment, but I have seen them being used in fridges, and it is amazing. Like for condiments and stuff that don't fit on the door. You know what I mean? Or like just things that don't need to sit, that don't fit in the door. Everyone knows condiments
so like
are
all
on the door.
those bottles of wine that I have on the top shelf.
Sure.
I could like spin them and see
yeah, you
one I want.
could. I thought you had boxes on your top shelf.
Oh, I definitely have a box on my top shelf.
But I have one in my medicine cabinet, and I have all my pill bottles are on it, and I just spin that around. And I have one in the bathroom for like my skin products, and I've used my label maker, and I have one for like morning products, and like it's a big like deep one that has like lots and lots of space on the inside. I'm just, how did I function without these things? They're amazing. Anyway, my other one, and I'm using it on my face right now because the puffiness is hardcore. There's a thing called an ice roller, and it literally says ice roller on it, and you put it in the freezer, you put it in the fridge, and it's a roll that you put on your face, and my eyes are so puffy and they don't feel good, so I'm just rolling this thing across my face. And some people put it in the freezer. For me, that's too cold, but I put it in the fridge, and then when my face is puffy in the morning, or when the eye bags are intense like they are today, I just roll this all over my face, and it feels so good.
How long does it stay cold?
I took it out maybe 25 minutes ago, and it's still cold.
And it's still cold.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, hard and not expensive, so worth looking up. Just look up ice roller on the store that has everything from A to Z, and you'll find it.
You mentioned your label maker.
Yes.
I have the same one because someone bought it for me as a present, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I went through and labeled a set of colored markers with different names of people in my family and events and clubs I'm a part of, so that I could fill out my calendar and have it be color coded, and I actually know what the code is.
Oh, I love that. That's really smart.
Because I would color code things and be like, oh, what color does this mean again?
Right, or I'd forget and mix them up.
Right.
Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's time for my favorite part of the show, the gem of the week. And this one comes from my dad, who has provided quite a few of them in my lifetime. And we're sitting around the dinner table the other night. We went over there. I'm laughing about him reading Reddit, which I've talked about on the show before. And He said, Jen, I don't read Reddit. I read republished Reddit articles on Apple News.
AKA...
I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that you're not on Reddit. And then he says, and I also like to read them on BuzzFeed. Right.
That's really what.
And I am dying. My dad is in his mid 60s, and he's just like the typical boomer dad, and not in a bad way, in a great way. But, we said, oh, well, Abby loves BuzzFeed quizzes. And he said, oh, I love BuzzFeed quizzes too. But I hate it when you have to wait for one page to load and then the next page. I like when all the questions are on the same page.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Stop.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness, he's
to know,
with it. This is hilarious.
He wants to know what color rug he should choose based on his favorite hot dog condiments. And he gets mad if you have to wait for a page to load and all the questions aren't on the same page.
Does he know what Disney princess he is?
Oh, I'm sure he knows what Disney princess he is based on his favorite use of aluminum foil and how he ties his shoes every morning.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He said, I love those articles that are 33 things you need for your living room. And I was like, wow.
Okay, the psychology behind BuzzFeed has the psychology behind those articles down pat. Like they really do. But I am also into those articles, and that's why my Amazon wish list is, or like my cart that's like saved for later is like completely full of crap because it's all those BuzzFeed articles.
Caitlin, I had to take the BuzzFeed app off my phone because I spent too much time on it.
Yeah, it's I don't have the app on my phone, but I get in trouble because I'll find a really interesting post on Instagram and then I'll like link in bio and then go like, and then I go down the rabbit hole there.
400.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. So mine, okay, this is borderline inappropriate. It's really not inappropriate, but I'm going to use some crass language around body parts. Okay. So here we go. My child is old enough to have a few slang terms in his brain for his private parts, right? Yes. Particularly the word balls has come up several times.
Sure.
Okay, so the other day, he's he's kind of doing as males do and arranging himself.
Yes.
And I said, "Excuse me, what are you doing right now?" And he said, nothing. I'm just like holding my balls." And I was like, "Okay, okay." And then he goes, "Do you have balls?" And I said, "No, I don't have that body part. It's just not one of the ones that I have." And he goes, "Do you have triangles?" Like knowing full well what, and then he starts cracking himself up because he knew the joke. And then he starts to run through all the other shapes, right? So he's like, "Do you have diamonds? Mom, do you have squares?"
Oh.
And he's
"Do you have squares?"
"What about a rhombus?" I'm like, "Excuse me? What are you
my God.
doing?"
Okay. +5 for rhombus.
Right? It was hysterical. And he's just like, it was one of those things where he's like, I know I've got I know the punchline. I'm going to be really funny. But it came out so fast. It was like, you would think it was witty, right? Because it just rolled off the tongue.
It's
"Do you
good.
have triangles? Mom, do you have squares?" What are you even talking about? No, I don't have any of those things.
He's writing his own slang.
I know. He's one day we're going to be like, "What's a square?" And he's like, "Well, let me tell you. It's a female body part."
I'm just saying. Like,
oh, goodness.
Depending on what your esthetician does, maybe you do have triangles.
Oh, hey, that's true. That's a whole other conversation. Let's get to our promo for the week.
It is time to take a break, refill your coffee, listen to this promo from our friends, and we'll be right back.
And we are back. Yay! Okay, so we're talking about sunscreen, and the I have to preface this by saying I've titled my notes today "Sunscreen is Funscreen," and you will find out later why it's called Sunscreen is Funscreen.
Unknowingly, before I even looked at the note sheet, I called today's recording "Sunscreen is Funscreen."
And probably because of what I did.
100% because of you.
Yeah, exactly.
100% because of you. I cannot say the word sunscreen without thinking it's funscreen.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to preface this by saying I am not a dermatologist. Shock and awe from our entire audience. But I do want to give as much context as possible for what as a redhead, I feel like I can speak to the sunscreen issue.
I almost spit coffee on my computer.
Because I'm not a dermatologist, I'm going to just give my references for today. So I found an article on, Refinery 29 by Megan Decker, one on health.com by Claire Gillespie, another one from Real Simple by Lindsay Tiger. And then all of these articles that I found were reviewed by medical doctors for their validity and accuracy. And every effort here has been made to be factual rather than fact adjacent, as we have been known to be.
Nice.
So I want to start with some basic sunscreen knowledge here. Sunscreen and sunblock. We've heard these words before. I believe our parents use them interchangeably.
Oh,
yes?
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't know that they were different until right now.
They have been renamed over time, and I'll explain that in a second. But sunscreen is a product that helps protect your skin from the sun and the harmful rays. These are often called chemical sunscreens. Okay. They work by absorbing or reflecting UV radiation from the sun. You can get it in a lotion, in a cream, in a gel, in a spray, and they contain chemicals that act as filters for those UV rays.
Okay. Got it.
Sunblock is also a product that helps protect your skin from the sun, but it is often called a mineral sunscreen because the term sunblock you actually can't use anymore. The FDA decided that the word sunblock gave too much reassurance to people that if they put it on one time, they wouldn't need it anymore.
That is very interesting. Yes.
So because it the way that it works is by blocking, but you won't see the word sunblock on any packaging anymore. That's an FDA mandate. It gives us.
Did you know that before, or did you just learn that?
I just learned that, but I have noticed that I haven't seen anything that says sunblock in forever.
Well, and I thought the word just changed, right? But now I understand it's like because sunblock is not a thing.
Right. There's nothing that blocks the sun.
There's nothing's going to block the sun. Right. Yeah.
So,
except the moon during an eclipse.
Hey-o. I like it. Or if you live in New York, perhaps all of the smoke and other crap that's in the air. Oh, what a nightmare. Ooh.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
There you go. So sunblock is now referred to often as a mineral sunscreen. They work by creating a physical barrier on your skin to block or reflect the UV radiation. So while sunscreen absorbs the radiation, sunblock blocks the radiation. So that's how you can remember what they do. Sunblock is usually thicker, and it has ingredients, particularly zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. This is
the white.
Yes, the Lifeguard white nose. That is what we're talking about here.
My friend got some really cool zinc oxide that's colored.
Ooh.
And it was like bright pink.
I've seen that.
So you can like make designs on your body. Yeah, it was cool.
That's fun for kids. I like that idea. So because these ingredients sit on top of your skin and reflect the UV rays away from them, they're generally regarded as less likely to trigger a reaction if you're someone who has sensitive skin. Okay. Let's talk about UV radiation. UV radiation is an energy that comes from the sun. There's two types, UVA, UVB. UVA is the one that's making me get Botox because it's causing skin aging and wrinkles.
Which one is UB40?
It's the red wine kind.
Okay.
Yeah. UVB rays cause sunburns and contribute to skin cancer. So really, this is why you need SPF, high factor SPF, and broad spectrum sunscreens. Okay. So let's talk about SPF. It is SPF, sun protection factor. It's a measure of how well a sunscreen or a sunblock can protect your skin from UVB, UVA rays. Okay. The higher the number, the more protection it provides. However, when you get above things like, 50, it's kind of negligible. Just putting that out there. SPF 30 means that it takes 30 times longer for your skin to burn compared to not wearing sunscreen.
Oh
SPF
my goodness.
50,
I'm losing my mind because I thought it was a percent.
No, it is how long it would take your skin to burn compared to if you had no sunscreen on at all. Now, if you're like me and you burn within 1 minute, that means SPF 30 will cover me for 30 minutes. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense.
Yes.
That is so contrary to what I believed.
Right. I always just thought I need the big numbers. I didn't realize. I
thought it was like, it blocks 30% of the sun, so I'll still get 70% tan.
No, there's a couple of numbers like this that have recently blown my mind. Ready? Here's one of them. When it says that there's a 60% chance of rain, that does not mean that it's 60% likely that you're going to get rain. That means that 60% of your area will see rain and you might not be in that 60%. That's one number that blew my mind.
What?
Yep. The other one is the number on your toaster when you're toasting. That's how many minutes it's going to be toasting at that time. Like when
No,
you
it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's minutes. It's a timer.
It's supposed to be a timer. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I thought it was levels.
Nope, it's supposed to be a timer. Anyway,
Like,
going back to
I'm a level 4 toast.
Yeah, it's got to be a little bit black. We're talking dark brown. Anyway,
All right.
So all sunscreens and sunblocks come with an SPF. The American Academy of Dermatology, see me being factual here, advises using an SPF of a minimum of 30. That will block approximately 97% of UVB rays.
Okay. And UVBs are the ones that can help cause skin cancer.
Right.
Okay.
Remember that no sunscreen can completely prevent 100% of UV rays. Okay? Right. So just putting that out there. Now, when we're talking about SPF, we're particularly talking about UVB rays. However, if you get a broad spectrum sunscreen, that will protect against both UVA and UVB. So when you're looking for sunscreens, you need one broad that spectrum. Says broad spectrum. If it doesn't say that on there, then it's not going to protect you from aging. Okay? The other word that the FDA has taken off of all sunscreen packaging is waterproof. Because no sunscreen is waterproof. People were getting another false sense of security from waterproof sunscreens. The word is
so now, if I have waterproof sunblock in my cabinet, I need to throw it away.
You need to throw it away because it hasn't been able to be on there. I think it was like 2011 that they got rid of at least sunblock. It might have been in the past. It's definitely old. You need to get rid of it. The word now is water resistant. It means it will be effective for roughly 40 to 80 minutes in the water before you need to reapply it.
Okay.
And that's consistent time in the water. However, keep in mind, if you get out of the water and you dry yourself off, you will need to reapply it because you've just wiped it off. Just putting that out there too. The other word that's kind of a buzzword in the sunscreen world, which I just learned yesterday, is this word reef safe.
We had to have that when we went snorkeling in Honolulu Bay in Hawaii. They check your bag to make sure that you only have that type of sunscreen.
Right. Now, this idea about reef safe comes from the fact that there is a lot of evidence that suggests that there's a relationship between ingredients in chemical sunscreens that causes coral bleaching. The ingredient in particular is called oxybenzone. Now, you can't test coral in a lab. It just doesn't operate the same way as it does in the wild. So they've been using other creatures to test it out, and sometimes those creatures, when they have oxybenzone on them and then light gets on them, they die. So it's assumed that that's probably how this is working for coral too. A designation of a reef-safe sunscreen doesn't necessarily mean anything other than the sunscreen that you have doesn't have oxybenzone in it. So like if you're going to a place that is particularly rife with ocean wildlife, yes, they will check your sunscreen. Places like Hawaii, everything along the Great Barrier, they're all going to make sure you have that. But like, you don't need to worry about reef safe if you live in Colorado.
Right.
Like, that doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
And we used other sunscreen when we went to the beach, but we bought their special sunscreen when we went snorkeling in this reef.
Right. They won't let you wear that stuff.
No, because they were like, get that Neutrogena out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about applying sunscreen. There are some general rules we need to talk about here. The recommended amount of sunscreen to wear is about 1 ounce, which is a shot glass full of sunscreen. It feels like a lot. Yes.
That is a lot.
However, that is for your entire body. That's not like for your face, right? Like it's important that you put it on every exposed area. People forget things like tops of feet. Ears.
Oh my God, that is exactly what I was thinking of, is the tops of the feet. My dad, we would go to, we had season passes to Six Flags when we first moved to Texas, because we moved during the summer. And so we didn't have friends from school or anything. Mm-hmm. So we bought season tickets to Six Flags. And then we ended up getting them every summer after that because they were such a great deal. But when we would go to the water park, he would put the sunscreen on the top of his feet, on the top of his ears, everywhere. Yep. We're like, why do you have so much sunscreen? Well, it's because he was as white as Wonder Bread and needed to make sure he didn't burn.
Right. So I, again, what's the line I always use about sunscreen? The redhead burns. Okay. So I personally, this is my pro tip. If you're going out and you know you're going to be exposed to the sun, I put it on as my body lotion. Then I put my swimsuit on and then I put my clothes on. So I put it on my entire body, even places that I don't think will be exposed to the sun, because then I know I haven't missed a spot, right?
Right. But listeners, if you are a longtime listener, you know there is one place where she doesn't put sunscreen because Sam brought it up to her.
Are you going to tell them what it is?
It's her vagina.
Why you didn't put sunscreen on your vagina? Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a crass episode today, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
It's
we're
okay.
Gonna get an E next to our name on
No, we're
Apple
not.
Pod.
I'm the one who designates the E, so don't worry about that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. You can get powder sunscreens for places like your ears and your part of your hair. So that's worth looking into, because I mean, like, who wants to put like sunscreen?
I don't.
Oh, I don't do it either. That's what the hats are for, right? So
but I burn on my part all the time.
Oh, it hurts, and it hurts so much.
And then I'm gonna be really gross when it peels and you have to pull it through your hair. Because the hair is like stuck in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it looks like Swiss cheese when you take it out.
Oh,
it's so gross.
Oh my gosh. You know that in the Austin Powers with John Travolta when he's like, put it in the skin box and he's like pulling off that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's the one with Beyonce. Anyway, that's what I just had in my head. And he's like she's trying to eat it. And he's like, taking for myself. Yeah. Okay. So also with kids, and I've done this for myself too, but with kids, you can use makeup sponges and makeup brushes to put it on their face so you're not rubbing your hands all over their face and they're like scrunching up and all that. So like I used to put it on a makeup sponge and then I would turn it into a little song, which is where the Sunscreen is Funscreen comes from. But
Sing the song.
Okay. It goes, sunscreen is funscreen. They are the same thing. Sunscreen is funscreen. They are the same. There's another verse. When we wear sunscreen, we get to play. Yay! When we wear sunscreen, we get to play. Because he knows I would not let him go out and play in the water without having the sunscreen on. And so now he sings it too. And he's almost 7 years old.
So I want to talk about the makeup brush or sponge thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions among camp counselors and teachers about touching your students to apply sunscreen. And so we do sunscreen buddies, or you like try and spray without rubbing in. I love this idea.
Yeah.
For faculty members of whatever it is.
Yeah.
We need to like really pump that out, because teachers could feel a lot better about applying sunscreen on their students if they know, hey, I'm putting it on with a makeup brush.
Right. There's that. The other thing is, and this is something I haven't tested out so much myself, but I did see these and I was like, this is genius. They make sunscreen sticks that kind of look like deodorant. And you can teach your child to put those on themselves. So Sam has one in his backpack for when he goes to camp and they go outside and he needs to reapply his sunscreen.
Right.
So I haven't seen him do it on his own yet. However, I will say I feel like that's a really good solution for if you don't want to use the makeup brush kind of thing. But I do really like it. And so we would sing the song, we would do the makeup brush, and you could either put the sponge. We could either put it on the sponge itself, or I would like dab it onto his cheeks and dab it onto his forehead, and then he has to, and he would spread it around, and then I would be like, oh, you missed a spot, and then I would fix those spaces. Okay, so more about application. You should definitely apply your sunscreen in the morning, 100%. But you also have to reapply it throughout the day, because if you're putting it on in the morning before you go to work, it wears off by 10 or 11 in the morning, just so you know.
I see.
Yeah. So even if you're inside and you're like, I'm not going outside. Like I have a window right in front of mine, and in the afternoon, the sun is coming in my window, and I know I'm like, oh, I gotta go. do my
We
thing.
have all seen that picture of the truck driver who, like, one side of his
One,
face
the
is
arm,
all
yep, and the
wrinkled
arm that he puts on the windowsill.
Yes.
Oh man, yes.
Dude, I wanted to be a long distance truck driver for the longest. I think that is such a cool gig.
I mean, it depends on the pressure that you feel like you're under, but I think you'd get to, it's like Forrest Gump with the running, right? You'd get to see so much cool stuff, I feel
Right.
like.
I don't want to be the kind that, like, uses meth and stays up all hours to try and beat their timeline. But I want to be the one that, like, oh, I make runs, 3 or 4 days a week and get to see the country.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. You could also just go on a road trip when you have the time. Although I guess the point of this is you don't have the time, so that's why you want to do the job. JK! All right, so.
Hey, Jen, guess what? The road's not only for truckers. You can use it yourself.
Things you learn on this show, guys. We're all about the things you had to,
Yeah.
things we had to learn. Anyway, if you are hesitant to reapply, especially on your face, use that powder sunscreen, because then you're not smearing up your makeup, right? And it might even help your makeup last a little longer.
Okay, do you use that? Have you tried that powder sunscreen?
I haven't tried it yet because
I'm gonna try it.
But I have a couple in my cart right now that I'm about to pull the trigger on, and I think I'm gonna give it a shot here.
Let's give an update at the end of the summer how it went.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Especially now that I'm actually wearing makeup when I turn on my camera at work. I haven't been, but it's time. I was looking scrubby. Anyway, okay, other thing, chemical sunscreens and mineral sunscreens, aka sunscreen and sunblock, don't play well together. Not that they interact or anything, but they just kind of wear off the other one's effectiveness, so just don't mix them.
Okay.
Right? Like they may even reduce the effectiveness that we're talking about here. We don't want to do that to ourselves. So just don't mix them up. Now, I have to say this. If you are someone who has darker complected or you have black or brown skin, you are not immune to the effects of the sun, despite the fact that your beautiful skin has enough melanin in it to protect you a little bit longer, right? Sun damage happens to everyone, not just those of us who immediately turn red the moment we go out into the sun. So everyone needs to be wearing high factor broad spectrum SPF sunscreen to make sure that you're protected. And I have a quote here from this dermatologist named Dr. Derek Phillips. He says, while melanoma skin cancer is uncommon in Black skin, when it does occur, it often occurs in sites that are not exposed to the sun, like the soles of your feet, palms, or beneath nails. If you have a brown streak in your fingernail, that is not a good thing. That is often melanoma. You need to get that checked out. So in patients with darker skin, because you don't see the melanoma spots, it often takes longer for it to be diagnosed, and late stage diagnosis of skin cancer is not a good thing. So you need to be careful about wearing sunscreen even if you have darker skin.
That is so interesting.
It's actually kind of terrifying when you think about it. So I'm just putting that out there as this is not just for the people of the northern
with the lack of color.
Right. Okay. This is not just for the people who don't season their chicken enough. Okay. This is this applies to everyone. If you put raisins in your potato salad, then you need sunscreen. If you don't, you still need sunscreen.
You still need sunscreen. Right.
Raisins do not belong in potato salad. Ugh. Okay. Let's talk about your face real quick. Your makeup is not sunscreen. I fall into this trap all the time. It'll be like, oh, SPF 40, sweet, I'm covered. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. You need to put on your lotion, your face moisturizer. You need to then put on your sunscreen. Give your moisturizer time to absorb, because sometimes if you put on sunscreen over it, it'll pill and rub off, and that's gross. So give it some time. And then after that, put your makeup on. And by the way, a spray tan is definitely not sunscreen. There is nothing in that will protect your skin. So if you're getting a spray tan, which is better than tanning, and I used to love me a spray tan, no joke. But
I used to love me a tanning bed.
Oh, no. I could never. I would be in there for 4 minutes and turn out like a tomato. I couldn't do it. I would never did it.
My weird self-care, go in there for 11 minutes, listen to my music and bake.
Oh, I would go, no, that sounds amazing though. The warmth, I could get into that. But I would go do the spray tan.
every time I go in there, I'm like, cool, I'm getting cancer right now, but it feels good.
But it feels good. Did you get this? Did you put the sticker on yourself?
Oh, I did the sticker when I was in college. I did do the sticker.
Yeah, I know.
When I was out of college and still using a tanning bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Old enough to know better.
Yep. Oh, definitely old enough to know better.
Yeah.
And yet I still did it.
Yeah. I have to say this. You do tan. Like, you do get tan when you're like naturally out. But I only tan if I burn first. Like, it'll fade.
Right.
So I have to be much more careful, and I'd rather just be pasty and not deal with the burning because it just hurts me so much.
My mom has very olive skin, and it tans beautifully. She also lives out in the sun with no sunblock ever, or
It's
sunscreen,
not good.
or anything. Oh yeah, no, we tell her all the time.
Yeah,
She's like,
no.
it's fine. I'm like,
It's not fine.
Spencer.
Make her listen to this episode.
Yeah, but so I have half of that, and then the other half is my very blonde
Nordic stock.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of Conan O'Brien? This is off the topic of getting his ancestry results back, and he's 100% Irish. And the ancestry person said they've never seen that before, ever, ever, ever. And he was like, "Well, what does that mean?" And he goes, "It means you're inbred." Oh, that cracked me up. I know I'm not 100% Irish, but my sister did hers, and it's real close. It's real close. Okay, so we've done your face. Let's talk about the recommended application process. So put on sunscreen about 15 to 30 minutes before going outside to give it enough time to absorb into your skin. Notice I said the word absorb, which means I'm talking about a chemical sunscreen. Okay. Sun blocks work a little faster because their job is to block the sun's rays and they don't absorb them. So one thing I like about mineral sunscreens is that you can go out a little sooner. So if you're like rushing to apply, maybe a mineral sunscreen might be like the way to go there. Try to reapply it every 2 hours, more frequently if you're swimming or you sweat or you rub your skin with a towel. Basic rule of thumb is if you dry off with your towel, your skin is now dry enough to reapply. So just do it. Again, use a powder to reapply in your face. I've got some recommendations for ones that I like to use. These are also ones that I've seen on these dermatologist articles, which I am going to link all of these at the same time. Yeah. So these are I pulled the ones that I like that I have used from those sites. However, there are other recommendations for people with a little bit more money to spend or a little bit less money to spend, etc. So
dermatologist tested, white girl approved.
Right girl approved. So drugstore level, like you're going to CVS and you just need to buy a sunscreen real quick. There's nothing wrong with the store brand sunscreens, right? They cannot legally like put all that product packaging on there and say that they're not broad spectrum or anything like that. Those are fine. You're welcome to use those. If you're going to go a little bit more name brandish, I do like Neutrogena. It does have oxybenzone in it, depending on which one you get. So just be real careful about that if you're going to a reef or snorkeling or anything like that. My particular favorite is the Hydro Boost. It comes in a blue bottle and it feels really, really good. There's nothing greasy about it.
We like the Beach Defense.
That's a good one too. It does come in yellow.
It smells
so good. Yeah.
It smells like summer camp and childhood. Like I just love it.
It's a really good one. Yep. I also like the Ultra Sheer. The Ultra Sheer comes in like a aerosol kind of spray. It also comes in a cream. Those ones are really good. Other ones I like, especially for my face, I really like Supergoop. Supergoop is a great brand. You can find them kind of everywhere. They have a tinted moisturizer that is really good. They call it Glow Screen, and it's like a sunscreen with a little bit of a tint in it, and it makes you feel like dewy. It's got a little bit of a sparkle to it. It's pretty. They also have an under eye cream that has a metal tip, and you can put it in the fridge and put it on your face. And it's an under eye specific sunscreen. It feels really,
love
really
me
nice.
A good metal applicator on eye cream
for sure. Another I probably should have put this one before the Supergoop. Supergoop is a little bit higher priced. You can, get certain bottles for like in the $20-ish range.
It has super in the name.
Right. As opposed to things like Neutrogena or this other one, CeraVe, which CeraVe is like known for making high quality skin products at drugstore prices.
Yeah.
They have a great mineral sunscreen. However, I didn't get burned, but I did look pretty chalky after that because it's just that kind. Like the Neutrogena mineral ones, I don't necessarily look that way, but the CeraVe ones, I do, and I use it, but like only if I'm not going to be in public. If I'm like going in the backyard, I'll use that one. Another one I really like that my dermatologist recommended, the Elta MD line. It has some really good ones. Yeah, it's again a little bit on the pricey side. This is like for the people who can afford to spend, $180 on sunscreen and stuff. The Elta MD stuff is not that expensive. Like you can get a face wash from them for like $30.
Okay.
However, it does get higher up from there. So Elta MD is one to look into. In terms of powder, one of the dermatologists I saw recommended a brand that I haven't heard of. It's ISDIN. I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to spell it out. ISDIN mineral powder. It's got a soft brush on it and is really good for the whole face and part thing.
Nice.
Again, Supergoop has a really good powder sunscreen that is in my cart right now. And Supergoop also has one that is specifically designed for your part. So you could look into that as well. Because I would bet that the ones that are for your face have some color on them. And if you're putting it in your part, you probably don't want anything that has color. So just
unless, of course, the color is blonde and it's covering my roots, at which point bring it on.
Right. But I don't know that that's what that is. I'm pretty sure it's like, skin toned. And I don't know if you might want skin toned in your part, but I don't think you want it in your hair. That's the difference. So those are some of the brands I love. I'm going to recap this here. All right. Sunscreen and sunblock. The broad umbrella term is sunscreen because the word sunblock does not exist. So sunscreen is a chemical sunscreen. Sunblock is a mineral sunscreen. That's how we're going to refer to this. Sunscreens, chemical sunscreens, absorb or reflect UV radiation. You can get them in a cream, a lotion, a gel, or a spray. They work by using chemicals that filter out UVA, UVB rays. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sunblock, aka mineral sunscreens, create physical barriers on the skin. They're thicker in texture and have things like zinc oxide or titanium dioxide also protect you against UVA and UVB rays. The bottom line here is it's summer. You need sunscreen. Put it on. If you have only the option of chemical sunscreen, the chemicals are not going to hurt you. They're not the kind that cause weird side effects and make you have a sixth toe sprout out. Okay, just put it on. If your only option is chemical sunscreen, put it on. It's better than nothing. All right, there we go.
I love it. Thank you for doing all this research. I really appreciate it. This was a really great episode. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I actually nerded out over it. Thank you.
It's evident in a good way. Thank you. I learned so much today.
Good.
In addition to, I can make road trips by myself without being a long haul.
And also the toaster thing.
Oh, the toaster. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So, like any good mother would tell you, when you put on your sunscreen, you put it on your whole body and you be sure to reapply. Look at the time and make good choices.
Mm-hmm. And if you test out a powder sunscreen, let us know because I'm real curious. And give us 5 stars. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.